Golf Central on YouTube, brought to you by Apex Irons from Callaway.
Hello and welcome into this edition of Golf Central. Cara Banks alongside Brandel Chambly and Mark Rolfing as 64 became one, and an American in the form of Billy Horschel won the WGC-Dell Technologies Match Play. It was a 2-1 victory over the runner-up Scottie Scheffler. Meanwhile, Matt Kuchar did win the consolation match, also 2-1 over Victor Perez. But our Todd Lewis spoke to Billy Horschel after securing his first World Golf Championship.
It's taken Billy Horschel 20 tries, but now, finally, you're a WGC champion. We'll talk about the match. Just spoke with Scottie. He said he felt like he didn't have it all day today. Did you feel that, and did that force you to, well, maybe give you the option to be a little more conservative?
I mean, I got lucky. I had two guys that didn't, that were like me, that didn't have their A game today, or even maybe the B game. I don't think we didn't hit very good golf shots. This morning or even this afternoon, and that allowed me to just be smart and not have to be aggressive and try and make birdies. Now, if Scottie would have got hot with some iron shots and started making birdies, and now that puts a little bit of pressure on me. But it was just a tough day with this wind, trying to get close to some of these pins and the greens firming up as we played. So I'm fortunate. I had two guys today that missed some putts from inside 10 feet that they probably make majority of the time, and I think that's obviously why I'm standing here as a champion.
First individual stroke play win on the PGA Tour since nearly 4 years in 2017. You struggled a bit, but you worked and kept working to try to get back in the winner's circle. How gratifying is it to be validated as a champion again?
I mean, it's huge. I know I've won on tour, and I feel like I should have won more. I should have at least contended more in some of these WGC events and majors. I think everyone who knows me or is around me knows that I put in a tireless amount of work day in and day out, and sometimes I'm hard on myself when I'm not seeing the results right away. And that's why I probably haven't consistently played well week in, week out, year to year. I've had some ups and downs. I'm trying to be a little bit easier on myself, and I think this year's been a little bit better of that. And it's just nice to finally see some results. I mean, like I said, my entire team works hard, and it's nice to finally see the results for all of us.
Now that you have what seems to be a different outlook, not being so hard on yourself, and you're seeing the results, how optimistic are you now about the future of Billy Horschel and the PGA Tour and the world stage?
I mean, my view doesn't change. I've always felt I've had the talent to compete with the best players day in and day out. I think the difference between me and maybe a Dustin Johnson or Rory McIlroy or Justin Thomas is just the consistency day in and day out. I'm just not as consistent as them, and that comes down to, is it mechanical, technical, mentally? Is it the pressure I put on myself? It's probably a little bit of all of it. But like I think the game, the stuff that Todd Anderson and I have been working on, we've been seeing some good stuff, and so hopefully we're not changing anything. We're just going to keep making little subtle changes to keep finding the right little mojo we need, and hopefully be able to contend in some majors this year is the next goal.
The formula worked this week. We will see you at Augusta. Congratulations.
Thanks, Todd.
So Billy now has a win and a runner-up in the first two World Golf Championship events of the season after finishing tied second at the WGC Workday Championship to Colin Morikawa. He's had a couple of other top 10 finishes the last couple of years as well. Meanwhile, Scottie Scheffler finished also in the top 5 at both events. So he's had some good form in the two WGCs so far this season, and he also spoke to Todd Lewis after the defeat.
One heck of a run by Scottie Scheffler in his first ever WGC-Dell Technologies Match play. Let's talk about the match with Billy first off. You got down, you tried to get back. What was the difference in the match in your opinion?
I just couldn't really get anything going. My swing didn't feel great. I had a few opportunities and just kept burning edges. And just couldn't really get a spark, and that's kind of just how it went. Billy played some solid golf, hung in there really well. I don't think he felt great, but tip the cap to him for grinding it out and beat me.
You're saying didn't feel great. Was fatigue at all an issue?
I don't think so. I don't think so at all. I think I just wasn't making any putts. If there's any fatigue, I can't feel it right now. So if there was, I think I'd feel it after the match is over. But It's all right.
You made it to the finals, again in your first ever match play championship at WGC-Dell Technologies Match Play. You had tremendous support here for you. As you look back and reflect, I know it's tough right now at the loss, but what will you take away positively?
Yeah, it was a fun week. Lots of support. It was definitely fun playing in front of crowds again, for sure. Had a good run. I made some really nice shots to get to this point and just didn't have my best stuff this afternoon, and I paid for it with a loss.
Well, congrats on a great week.
Thanks, appreciate it.
A mature head on young shoulders, I think you've got to say. There are so many positives to take from today, despite the fact that they both admitted, they didn't play their best golf. But as you alluded to in our post-game coverage, Brandel, the class by which both of them held themselves was exceptional.
Yeah, I saw a lot of people on social media criticizing the pace of play. First of all, it's a Pete Dye golf course. Those are very difficult to play. Add into it the fact that the winds were blowing 20, 30 miles an hour from every single direction on the compass. That further compounds the complexity of every single shot. So I give them a big break. And then people were criticizing the poor play. Again, it's a windy day, a lot of pressure at stake, and Billy Horschel played two players that had never won on the PGA Tour. So again, a lot of pressure there. But to see Scottie Scheffler struggle as much as he did in that match, never throw a club, never yell an expletive, and the way that they were, both encouraging one another from the first hole to great shots by the other one. I don't know that I've ever seen a more respectful match between two players. And then to see Billy win the way he did, I mean, that's how you play poorly with class, and that's how you win with grace. That's what golf is meant to be. Yes, they could play better, but that's the essence of golf, what we saw today.
Yeah, my takeaways changed as the week went on, and I'm sitting here thinking about why we don't have any more match play tournaments than this one. We have the Ryder Cup, obviously, but, I mean, it was an unusual week in a lot of ways, and we just had the widest range spectrum of things happen. You had a walk-off hole-in-one to end the match, and then you had a championship match where not a single birdie putt was holed in the entire match. And the guy made a hole-in-one to win a match, and a lot in between. But, and interestingly enough, we have totally forgotten about the fact that all the top seeds went out. That kind of went out the window. But that's the nature of match play, because it's one player against another player. And this week, Billy Horschel was the best player because he won that last match.
Yeah, and nevertheless, Billy is a great champion for this event. He's been playing some good golf. As we mentioned, he finished runner-up at the previous WGC, which was a stroke play event. Scottie Scheffler has been knocking on the door for so long. You even said in our coverage earlier today, Rolf, your most surprising thought is the fact that how has he not won on the PGA Tour already? What did today and this week teach you about Scottie being the young talent that he is, 24 years of age, the reigning Rookie of the Year, finished top 5 in the FedEx Cup in his opening season? There are presumably big things ahead for him.
No doubt about it. I mean, they've been predicting him for a very long time. The first major that he played as a professional in 2020 was the PGA Championship, and he had the lead on the back nine on Sunday. So clearly he's good enough to get himself in that position. He just, at some point, is going to get very comfortable, and he'll close the door.
Yeah, I said before, I can't believe he hasn't won a tournament. I now think even more he's going to win a tournament because he had not played it well and almost won this tournament.
Well, we've got a couple of pretty big ones coming up, don't we? We'll see them both, of course, at Augusta National, but we'll be at Augusta National a little bit before the Masters begins because of the second edition of the Augusta National Women's Amateur. Our coverage begins this week. We'll be there for the Drive, Chip and Putt National Finals on Sunday. Meanwhile, the LPGA Tour have their first major of the season, and the PGA Tour stays in Texas.